Good evening and welcome to the Whaler Guys. February 22nd, almost around the corner to spring. We're getting there. It's warm today here in Hartford. We're the Whaler Brigade. We're the Whaler Guys. You guys are the Brigade, and we're One Nation Under Green. A lot happening in Hartford with the sports, with the XL Center. We have a lot to go over tonight. There's critics who don't want to redo the XL Center, and we just want to tell them, I hope you have a good part-time job when you get voted out of office. There's only one thing you have to do is concentrate on this XL Center and just get it done, right?
Absolutely. I mean, you know, we've gotten good feedback from some legislators and critics and people in the community. But, you know, we've also heard a lot from people that have an opinion on the XL Center. You know, one particular is Neil DeMoss, who does the Field of Schemes. I guess you'd call it a blog, right? Would you say it's a blog?
Yeah, it's a blog, yeah.
Kind of like a blog. And basically, I mean, if you want my opinion on it, this guy usually just kind of tears down any kind of proposal for sports in a metropolitan area, you know. So he wrote an article, you know, which was a little, yeah, it was definitely anti-XL, but it, you know, he starts off with, you know, on this article, which he says is, Malloy asked for $250 million from folks, and folks is in quote because that's the word that Malloy used. But he leads off here with his thing. He says, Connecticut Governor Daniel Malloy has explained that his screwy invitation to let the New York Islanders play in Hartford isn't so screwy after all because some other guys who don't actually have a hockey team called him about playing in Hartford if they got one. That's Neil DeMoss.
Yeah.
So I can tell this guy doesn't know anything already about this specific, you know.
I think he's out of the New York area.
Yeah. So in other words, he, you know, the fact that a group that doesn't have a team contacted Hartford about getting a team and seeing if they could move it to Hartford, that's a positive. We haven't seen that in 20 years. I mean, are you kidding me? This guy?
You have to give the guy a little, not to defend the guy, but you know, he is a guy who questions public policy.
Yep.
He is a guy who has said in his blog that, you know, these funds from the government are only benefiting the private profit. Now, but if that wasn't the case, we wouldn't have entertainment anywhere, right? Am I right?
Yeah.
I mean, you have to put some money in and invest in what you want to do with wherever you are.
Yep.
This is a prime example of that. We have to invest for the future. And like the governor said, you can either invest for the future or just knock it down.
Yeah.
And, you know, I don't think there's too many people out there who want to knock down the XL Center. Yes, it's a hard pill to swallow these days because of the budget. We understand that. But to plan for the future, you get an NHL team in here, that's a 20 to 25-year lease. You have UConn waiting to sign a 20 to 25-year lease.
Right.
That's two major tenants in hopefully a refurbished building.
Yeah.
And that's the only way we can get it done. If he has a better solution, I haven't seen him come up with one.
Well, I wanted to bring that up too as well because I'll tell you, one thing is paramount in all these critics' denials and, you know, we have solutions for a problem that we see. They do not, you know, they don't support the XL Center renovation, but they have no plan what to do otherwise.
Right.
You know?
They never come back and said, hey, Governor, how about you do this? The only thing that Markley said was get some private ownership to buy the XL Center and float the bill. Well, first of all, that's not going to happen because a private group is not going to afford $250 million. I think with its current standing now, this is the best way of doing it.
Yeah, it's you know, it's the only pathway that's been presented to us. And you know, I really think that, you know, as much as we're the Whaler Guys and boy, we're going to pump the pom-poms and all that, but I think we're objective to the point that if this was a crappy plan, I think you and I would say, hey, we have some issues with this and that.
Sure.
You know, it involves a lot of public money in a market the size of Hartford, which we've, you know, called the Green Bay of hockey for so long. You're going to need some public support, some public dollars. Asking a private company to buy the XL Center is like, you know, us trying to sell you a car that has no transmission and, hey, you want to, you know, drive it right off the lot.
It's a hell of a deal.
Mean, I mean, it's just, you know, it's kind of, just make some private guy pay. You know, you're a private guy, I'm a private guy. Do we want to, you know, buy an XL Center that's, you know, running in the red, has all these technical, no, you know, private investors may become more involved if the plan proceeds and the XL Center is upgraded. Then they're dealing with an arena that can, you know, maintain and control. And, you know, you can go on this Field of Schemes look it up through Google and check out the latest article. And check out the comments section because I grabbed my marching papers and I went to the comments section and it was very professional. But I went back and forth with Neil DeMoss. So read that. Add your opinions.
It's on the Hartford hockey page.
It is on the Hartford hockey page. We'll have to get on our Whalers Brigade page. But yeah, check out the comments section underneath the article and get into that discussion because one thing that I noticed that Neil and Senator Markley, you can go down the list. They all say we can't afford to do this. We can't afford to do this. None of them understand that they can't just send UConn back to stores and have everything be hunky-dory. That's not going to work either. If UConn had a Hockey East arena and had a renovated Gamble and had accommodated traffic conditions, because there's only one road in and out.
Right. And those people up there don't want added traffic.
Yeah. If you live in Stores or Mansfield, you don't want two new arenas going on campus in Stores. It's difficult to get in and out of. We talk to fans all the time. I tell them, you come to UConn games at the XL Center. Would you go to Stores to see UConn? Absolutely not. They said they sit in traffic for so long. There's, again, to bring it up, there's no alcohol sales. The amenities are different. The money is different. You can't make money in Stores that you can make at the XL Center. So, if I saw these negative rants and they had, well, here's what we should do with UConn, nobody even thinks. I mean, they haven't even gotten to the second and third layers of this to understand what.
Throw the third thing into it, which is the governor is saying they have to give back $28 million in the 2018 fiscal year. $28 million. There goes all the ball field reconstructions. Gamble's roof is finally getting done after 10 years, which they need to do because the men and women play at Gamble, and they need to keep that going as long as they can. Eventually, that's going to have to be replaced.
Yeah.
But they're just patching that place. So, if the state wasn't in this financial situation and UConn didn't have to give back $28 million, I would be more concerned of them building a new arena at UConn for the hockey, and then we'd be SOL, because I can't say the other word on this show.
Not right now.
And we'd be in a bigger problem. With UConn drawing the numbers they're drawing, even though they're not a very good club this year, they're still drawing decent numbers. I think they're sixth, right?
They're sixth in Hockey East, but they're just behind Maine by about a dozen. Attendance-wise. We'll get into the standings later. That's worse.
But again, they're still drawing decent crowds. And that's the money that the state's seeing, not from the Wolfpack. But again, the Wolfpack's drawn the last 3 games were very, very good.
They were good. They are. Well, first of all, they stink to high hell. So
that's
not good.
They're not having a good season.
And we might as well say that they're just not really having a good season at all. And again, they're like 26th in attendance. UConn is drawing about 600 more people per game on average. Now that's a 14, 15 game to 38 game comparison.
Sure.
Regardless, it's 2 levels up in that we know of in hockey. So even with a lesser skill set, that UConn is what's drawn him. That's because there's 126,000 alumni within an hour of the XL Center. So you bring up a good point too with the arena and how they have to. UConn has to return some money, so they're going to have some issues doing that. And boy, you don't want UConn to take a step backward with their basketball program, with their hockey program. A lot has gone in to make UConn a national team.
Attraction.
Attraction. Yeah. You got the ACC tournament in Hartford this year. That's not something that's going to happen in the XL Center in the future if it continues to dwindle and be the way it is. So we keep talking about the XL Center and there's all these things, but we don't have an idea of a vote yet. When that would happen, if it does happen. We do know the proposal of, I think it's $50 million for next year and 75 for the year after that. That covers half of your renovation. We did hear from contacts downtown, where this gets a little exciting, that the NHL was in town this past week. And we actually ended up hearing that a couple weeks ago, so that was on target. When we say NHL, though, we're talking about preliminary stuff, NHL attorneys. I don't make it sound like that John Tavares was downtown checking out the XL Center. It's not that.
Right, and Gary Bettman wasn't here.
Gary Bettman was
eating a salute.
Right,
No, we heard that as early as yesterday they could have been here meeting with some city officials, town officials, or state officials. And that is exciting because I hope the momentum continues from the letter to the Islanders. And, you know, as Peter and I have spoken at length, we don't think the Islanders are going to come here.
Yeah.
We would rather look at Arizona, Carolina. Someone shouted out at the press conference, the Colorado Avalanche.
Yeah.
No, they suck this year. They just plain suck. They're in last place. They're going for the #1 pick because it's charity case. Still get it.
Yeah.
But, you know, you get those teams, and then you throw in that statement the governor made about another group, folks,
Right.
contacting him who are interested in purchasing a team and possibly relocating him here in Hartford. That's exciting, and you know, let's just ride the wave as long as we can, because you know what? It was only 3-4 months ago where we were just sitting here talking about UConn and the Wolfpack and trying to get ready for the season, and there was nothing going on.
No, it was
so
very
all
quiet.
Of a sudden, you know as well as I do, these things come up, and all of a sudden we have a lot to talk about, and there's more hope. And you know, there are some Wolfpack fans we get along with very, very well. There's other ones that, you know, are a little cagey, and I think they're cagey because they might be nervous that if the NHL comes in, their team is probably going to relocate somewhere else.
Right.
Will relocate somewhere else,
Yeah.
as it's stated in their lease.
There's a pretty good chance if the NHL doesn't return that
That's true too.
that the Wolfpack is going to pack up after next year. But you know, that's neither here nor there right now.
And that has a lot to do with that $1.5 million
yeah, that's a big
affiliation fee.
Yeah, it's a top affiliation in the AHL. Obviously, the XL Center runs at a deficit, so this $1.5 million is not helping.
No.
You know, the attendance being at 26, the team being terrible, and quite frankly, you know, after 20 years, and you and I have been going to the Wolfpack games for a while now. You know, I've been there for 6 seasons now with a media pass. And there's never any Ranger prospects. I mean, not any good, really, you know, someone that they're...
You got Huska, who's on UConn.
Yeah, that's what I was just about to bring that up.
Yeah.
The Rangers' best prospect in Hartford is Huska. He's not even on the Wolfpack.
Yeah.
He's still 3 years away. So, you know, that's something also that kind of hurts attendance. There's not really a lot of excitement around the Wolfpack team, and that, you know, that kind of hurts it. But overall, you know, we don't know where the AHL will go, but we do feel that, you know, at some point they're going to have to, you know, either renegotiate for a lower AHL affiliate fee, which I can't see the Rangers doing, quite frankly. But you know, it's just not going to fly. So we'll just have to see. But you brought up a good point about Malloy, because the Hartford Courant released another article that said Malloy was contacted by a second group regarding interest in the XL Center. This group does not have a team, and also was looking at acquiring a team and then seeing what could Hartford, you know, possibly do. So this is a quote from the governor from the article here at the Hartford Courant put out, I believe on Monday. Quotes, as a result of sending that letter, getting as much publicity as it got, we have been contacted by a group that would very much like to explore bringing a team should they be successful in acquiring it. Now that's interesting, because there's a group here that says we want to buy a team. Carolina, possibly could be for sale. We know that Phoenix is maybe not for sale, but they have no place to go.
Right, after next season.
Right, and we know the Islanders don't have any leverage. And, you know, obviously if...
but they're not for sale.
No, they're not for sale. But, you know, it would have to be something like if someone was selling Colorado, or someone was selling...
You went to Black Eyed Sally's, and you heard the governor say, West Coast team,
Yep.
Islanders,
He did mention Islanders.
and a
Midwest
team.
And Colorado's kind of West Midwest, but it's...
But, you know, it fits the mold, and again, we're going to ride the wave as long as we can.
Yeah, and it wasn't even us who, you know, started this kind of questioning, because somebody asked about the Colorado Avalanche at the governor's impromptu kind of meeting in the XL Center, asked if they were contacted, if the state was contacted by the Colorado Avalanche, and Malloy said, I'm not mentioning any teams.
Any specific teams.
Yeah, and that's just interesting.
And it was, when the reporter, I don't remember who the reporter was, it was more of a statement more than a question.
Right.
What about the Colorado Avalanche?
Right.
And that's when he said, I'm not going to mention any team specifically.
Which would be so interesting.
So, you know, to make a statement like that, not a question, but a statement, that reporter might know more about what's going on than a lot of us do.
An interesting thing. I mean, Colorado, the Avalanche have been so bad that they're like the Colorado dusting this year. They're like, you know, it's not really that bad. This is the second half of Malloy's quote from the same article in the Courant. There are folks who are seeking to understand exactly what our plan calls for, and that's not exclusively the Islanders anymore. we've been contacted by other folks who are interested in acquiring an NHL team and want to know what we would do to this facility to modernize it. So there you go. You put something out there and you get some feedback. So
Sure.
This would be interesting putting Hartford in terms of getting them, not only talking to the Islanders who we think might be visiting here, but also talking to other groups and teams that are looking for a place to go. Bettman usually shoots down these rumors with like pinpoint accuracy within 7 minutes. He's got
Yes.
some. He said boo about Hartford.
There has not been anything from him.
Yep.
And that's very strange. We know when he says there's absolutely nothing going on, that's an indicator something's going on because he's never been right with the absolutely nothing going on.
Right.
The last time he did that, the Winnipeg Jets moved the next month.
Yeah.
And the other thing is I have to bring it up because it irritates the snot out of me that I was at the game the other night and someone comes up to me and they're like, well, as long as Bettman's in charge, they're never coming here.
Yeah.
That's not true.
No.
That is another myth.
Get that out of your
Remember,
head.
Gary
Yeah.
Bettman speaks on behalf of the Board of Governors.
Right.
He is a figurehead.
Yep.
That's it.
Yep.
He has no determining power. The Board
Yeah.
of Governors tells him, we want to go to Hartford. He goes, okay, I'll make an announcement because
Yeah.
he works for them. And if he wants his $8 million a year, he'll continue to do what he's told.
Yep.
It's not that he doesn't carry weight and decisions about the NHL, but he has to listen to the Board of Governors because that's the governing body.
Right.
So for these people that say Gary Bettman hates us, he might very well hate us, but he cannot say, no, we're not going to Hartford.
He does not have that.
So,
Yeah.
but we haven't heard that to the contrary because Gary Bettman has met with the governor.
Yep.
He has spoken to the governor.
Yep.
We know that there's a person within the state, specifically downtown, that when he calls the governor or the commissioner's office, Gary Bettman will personally speak to this guy because he carries weight in Hartford.
Right.
And he's not a politician. He works downtown. And you know what? I can see it happening because he's a pretty powerful guy.
Yeah, big time.
And so when I heard that, I said, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And, with a guy like that, I want him to keep on bugging Bettman.
Mm-hmm.
I want him to keep on taking this guy's phone calls because then they can have a conversation about what's going on here in Hartford. And it's not directly connected to the governor or to the state or city officials.
Right. I mean, Malloy's been very forthcoming on things like that, that he's been in discussions with the NHL, the letter to the Islanders and stuff. And, as we said, these types of moves are not being done, off the cuff and blindsided. They've had discussions about, hey, we're going to put this letter out and let us know that, this is Hartford's coming out party, that we're playing in the game. So, it's great to finally have these discussions. And, your point on Bettman is right on. It'd be like the Queen of England saying she wants to invade France. The country go, oh, okay, she's nuts. She doesn't have any power. Bettman, has power that is given to him by the Board of Governors. But, on his own, he has to do whatever they say. He's got 30 bosses when you look at it that way.
And he can give his opinion on what he thinks.
Right.
It is part of his job. But when they say we want to go somewhere or we want to do this, that's the voting body.
Right.
He's not part of that voting body.
No, and that's why when people tell me, oh, Boston and New York won't allow it, they're already for it. I mean, they've come publicly and said that.
They've already said it,
We've done this for 5 years. We've been telling you. Their point is, and this is real simple, they don't want to bail out teams like Arizona and Carolina. They have to pay out millions of dollars to keep the team afloat as part of their agreement that when one's down, everybody lifts them up. But if that team gets transferred to a market like Hartford, with people that have significant financial backing, which this wouldn't even be a discussion if Malloy wasn't involved with people with financial backing. So that's why this is more of a viable idea, because they don't want to pay these big teams losing lots of money. They'd rather sacrifice part of their market. And let's be honest, we all know that the Whalers have a bigger fan base in Hartford than the Rangers do in Hartford. I mean, that's so true. So,
the other thing you wrote down, and I have to say it, we have about 5 minutes left, is we have to stop people comparing the XL Center to the Yard Goats project.
Oh,
they are totally different. The XL Center is, right.
Yeah.
XL Center is a state-funded obligation. The Yard Goats is a city obligation that the former mayor, who cannot be found these days, put that in.
Yeah.
with his administration,
Yeah.
and Luke Bronin's trying to finally get this project up
Right,
and running,
right.
and God bless him.
Yeah. Yeah, but-
These are two different things. So when
Yeah.
people say we're spending all that money on the yard goats, no, we're not.
No.
The city of Hartford is taking care of that.
Yeah.
The state of Connecticut is taking care of the XL Center.
It's almost like you have, like, you know, the Harlem Globetrotters play the Washington Generals?
Yes.
Well, the Washington Generals were in charge of the yard goats. That's what happened. But the XL Center is under the Harlem Globetrotters. We know the CRDA. They're a bunch of people that know what they're doing. They have a track record. You know, right now they're working on the housing projects and all the other things going on in Hartford. These people know what they're doing,
And
they're
a lot
making
of
things
corporate
happen.
people are involved with the CRDA
Right.
from the corporate downtown
Right.
areas. The other thing is we were at the XL Center the other night and got to walk up on the catwalk.
Yeah.
We only have a couple minutes left, so we
say-
got to show you
yeah.
this picture of the.
Let's have Jose
there,
show.
There
Yeah,
it is.
There it is. So we were up on Kaiton's catwalk.
We were. We saw Jody Ambrosio and Rich Coppola doing the play-by-play on WTIC 1080, and it was interesting to watch them do their radio broadcast as the game's going on. And let me tell you, I hate heights, and that was way to hell up there.
It definitely was.
Yep, Peter was nice enough to
yeah.
jump on the catwalk
Yeah,
as I was
jumped
walking.
on the catwalk, and it does move, and I didn't go through. I was actually trying to see if I could own it.
You were going to go over if you
yeah, I was going to be in a
continued to do it.
wheelchair, but I
Yeah,
may
I
have
was gonna
owned
smash
the
you.
exercise.
Yeah.
And we also want to make sure that you guys know about, if you want to march with Pucky on March 11th, Jose's going to throw a graphic up here. Come with us and march at the St. Patrick's Day Parade. Wear your Whaler jerseys. Pucky will be there. It's a great time. We get tons of, 75,000 people, and most of them seem to be Whaler fans.
Yeah.
You see plenty of Whaler jerseys in the audience.
Yeah, because it's green.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
And everyone's Irish on St. Patrick's Day. So March 11th, it usually kicks off around 11 o'clock. If
Yeah.
you plan to march with us, meet us in front of the Capitol at about 9 o'clock just to get everything. You have to get in there before they close down the streets around the city.
9:30 or 9 o'clock.
I usually get there about 9 o'clock with a nice
Yeah.
Irish coffee
Yep.
to make sure I can put up with people.
Yeah.
And, Pete and I always have a good time. We enjoy it. Last year I couldn't make it because of a conflict, but this year I plan to make it.
Yep.
And we should have a good time at the parade. And, of course, wear your Whalers colors. We don't need an excuse to wear our Whalers colors, but we can really do it on this day because it's St. Patrick's Day.
That's right. And last year we had our biggest crowd ever. I had a nice parade float that blasted brass bananas everywhere.
Yep.
It drowned out 102.9, I think.
Yep.
So it's always a good time. We always have a lot of fun. Last year the weather was perfect. Let's hope for the same thing. And then, of course, we always get our tons of publications and pictures of the parade on social media, so you can also check it out there.
And we want to thank Jose for behind the camera and Lindsay doing a
Yep.
great job.
Yeah.
And, we sit there every week, and Gil Martinez is the general manager here at Hartford Public Access. He's been very, very good to us, and we want to thank his staff, specifically Jose and Lindsay, for helping us put this show out.
Yeah.
Matthew Berry and Gabe Rosa,
Yeah.
who is our social media team there that
Joe the
keep us
printer.
going.
Yeah.
And Joe the printer out of Bristol, Minuteman Press of Bristol.
Yeah.
It's important because these people are the ones that help us to inform you guys of what we know.
Yeah.
The Whaler Today, Gabe Rosa pops that out every morning. Today was Derek King.
Yep.
The other day
Short-time whaler.
was Mike Liute because it was the
anniversary
year,
of the trade.
Right, the big trade.
Yeah.
And so, today, Peter and I, before we came into the show, we're watching a YouTube video of the recap of the 83-84 season. And I think what I got out of it the most was such positivity of the next season. They were all excited about what
And
they had
it was.
accomplished.
They were right.
Interviewed Quenville, Millen, Mark Johnson.
Yep.
And today is the 37th anniversary of the Miracle on Ice.
How about that?
Congratulations,
Yeah.
as always, to the 1980 Olympic
Maybe
team.
we'll say that one day with the Whalers'
That's
return.
right.
Do you believe in miracles?
That's right.
Yep.
We believe in miracles. And you know what? If you don't think we can do it, if you think this is a pipe dream, you can take a hike and shut your blowhole. Have a good night.